I think it is fair to say that all these trends have been important and they anchor the development of loyalty propositions across multiple sectors. But if I was pushed to choose one or two of these, I will want to say that partnerships, for me, is the underlying trend of what we have seen in the loyalty proposition in the loyalty world for the past year or so. And certainly I like to think as we go forward. And there's a reason for me for saying that. And it is because I believe that the world of loyalty is changing and the world of customer engagement is changing. And that is a new norm that we have to recognize. And the convergence of these partnerships will lead to what I call the ecosystem of partners in the loyalty universe. Whether we're talking about retail, whether we're talking about travel and hospitality, we're beginning to see ecosystems, loyalty ecosystems emerging. And that is a very exciting development, I believe. And we will probably see multiple ecosystems emerging in different markets, in different sectors. And what is even more exciting is perhaps some of these ecosystems coming together in a form of consolidation or in a form of merger. The second trend, if I will say, is if we look back in the last 2 or 3 years, we are probably going to see more emphasis on experiences. I think the emphasis on experiences had begun to take place prior to the COVID crisis. But I think coming out of the COVID crisis, society is probably going to appreciate more, at least in the world of air travel, the ability to travel, the ability to experience again, having been deprived in lockdown environments for the last 2 or 3 years. And so I think as we look at food and beverage, there will probably be the look for experiences in cuisines and beverages. There will probably be a lookout for better experiences in travel, I believe. So these are probably the two trends, Dilek, if I was to be pushed to ask which of these are the important ones that I see.
2022, there was a big focus for us on both on gamification as well as touching on the emotional loyalty piece. I really see that continuing going forward. I really think that there's going to be a bigger focus, across the industry on, going after the emotional aspect of it. I tend to view loyalty programs as being a driver of irrational behavior, encouraging customers to make decisions they might not have made otherwise if they were thinking purely about cost or schedule or those kinds of things. And I think you've seen a lot of success of a lot of loyalty programs and a lot of their companies, hotel chains and airlines, for example, supermarket chains, beauty chains, because of the power of the loyalty program, because of that emotional effect. And I think there's going to be a big continued focus on that going forward, because I think, especially after COVID, especially given the realignment of people's travel patterns and shopping patterns, I think there's going to be more of a focus on trying to go after consumers in different ways, in ways that cater to them, in ways that speak to them, in ways that answer to new demands, new questions. I mean, I think, for us in Europe, sustainability is a really big question, particularly in the airline industry. We launched a couple of interesting features on that, quite unique in the industry. But for us, it's responding to a new need, because there's new conversations that didn't exist before. So I think as we go forward, we're going to see more focus on that. I would say for 2023, I think there's probably a big focus on customer retention. I mean, I think following the COVID extension measures, customers might be looking to shop around, because they will not have had to have maintained their status the organic way. So they might be looking around. They might have had some miles expire, so they won't necessarily feel the same sense of kind of emotional obligation to continue to fly with or travel with or stay with loyalty programs or the airlines or hotel chains, etc., that they would have previously. I think spending patterns have changed. I think travel patterns have changed. So in order to keep up with a changing customer, we have to be adaptable, we have to be nimble, we have to be willing and ready to adapt. I think sustainability is a big one, particularly in Europe. I think in the Netherlands, we in particular, because we have a loyalty program at KLM, are struggling to respond to, government impetus to try to ban frequent flyer programs, for example, because some people view them as not being, well, as being inherently and intrinsically unsustainable. Now, I don't know if that bill is going to go anywhere, but these are the kinds of conversations that are being had, and we need to come up with a way to respond. I think so. There's going to be a bigger focus on how to respond to effectively, flight shaming, although it's a little bit less pronounced than it was, I think, when that term was first coined. But it's certainly the guilt that accompanies frequent travel. And so I think you're going to see more companies in Europe trying to find ways to deal with that, better links with the rail networks, incentives for participating in sustainable aviation fuel, which is something that we've done in Flying Blue, those kinds of things. And again, I think the focus on emotional loyalty through things like financial relationships, gamification, all of that, I think will also play a big part in trying to keep consumers engaged in a increasingly busy world.
For us, it was partnerships has been something we've done for some time because it truly is a great channel. It's a zero cost channel of acquisition of highly qualified audiences. And so that was something that we've historically dabbled in. And in this past year, we were trying to get that more in order, more structured so that we could do it more at scale. I think that we've had some learnings with that. There's certain markets where if you do a tier match or if you do any currency promotions, some audiences find loopholes and take advantage. So a lot of it was trying stuff out, taking it back, cleaning it up, trying it out, trying to close any gaps or loopholes. And again, we've had some good learnings. That was good. I think partnerships, we've put in a really good foundation this past year to do it more broadly. We only have about 10 really strong ones right now globally. I think next year, next year in 2023, we're going to go in a lot larger force. Longer term, absolutely. We have a large partnership strategy. We know that that's going to be a great way to extend, again, the value proposition to our members, and also to make sure that we're attracting different audiences that we can't get to through other means at such a low cost. So partnerships is definitely a strong area there. I think I see that across the board. All programs are really diving into that. If they didn't already, they are more so now. So I feel that partnerships is a big win for everyone involved. Personalization, I mean, this has been on everyone's radar for 5-10 years. Everyone wants to do it. Everyone does pieces of it, us included. We try so hard. There's so many versions and variations, and we try so hard. I think we have a long way to go to make it really relevant, to make it truly what we want it to be. I think the issue that we have there, which I feel we're not alone, is the right tools. And so we need tools to help us do it. Again, the at scale piece is the part that's the hardest. We can do anything we want, but at scale globally is difficult. And to have that done in an automated fashion is the tricky part. There's a big challenge. So that's a piece that we need to improve upon, and we'll continue to work at that. And then I think you had mentioned the other trend of emotional loyalty is something I think very much will continue. The difference in the last kind of a couple of years, I feel that is going to continue to grow in its relevance and its in the perception of customers is truly, it's not just, are you connected to a brand, but is that brand representing your value? So do they align with it? And it's not just, does it fit to your lifestyle? It's truly, do I like what that brand represents, what it stands for? And does that represent me? And that's where I think some of the decisions are being made on that purpose, as opposed to the usual, what is your price? What is your program? It's truly the brand. It's not just, is it cool? Is it sexy? It's truly, they stand for something that's at my core, what I believe in. And more that's happening across all different industries, even CPG. You're okay, hang on, you're just buying a soda, you're buying, you're buying canned goods, whatever it is. There's something about, if there was an emotional connection that resonates more at your core about values or principles, that's becoming more and more of a focus. And I think that that's not going to go away.
For us, the key drivers in 2022 for launching a new program have been personalization and enhanced experience. Personalization, the new program has been designed for making premium and VIP tier members decide how they want to personalize their benefit. Thanks, for example, to the new discount booster, increasing the room discount for future reservation by reducing the amount of points they can earn. Radisson Reward now provides a fully enhanced digital experience as well in their private area, on their member profile online, on their app. For 2023, global partnership will play an important role for the member value proposition offered by the new loyalty program. Our current and revamped program is more flexible and dynamic, adapting to the rapid lifestyle changes of travelers and their evolving expectation when they stay, work, and meet in other hotels.